Right then, as Manchester United struggle to find any sort of consistent form, a lot of Manchester United fans are kind of seeing their arse about Jadon Sancho, the guy that we all thought was bought to play on the right wing, predominantly played on the left wing, and actually not look like he's hitting the sort of form that any of us expected him to hit, the sort of form that we saw him absolutely light up the Bundesliga with. So it's asking the question, should United fans be worried about Jadon Sancho? My gut instinct is to say no, but we'll go through the data and we'll have a look at some of the evidence of what he's done in his career so far and maybe what some of the others that have come from the Bundesliga have done as well to see if we can get a bit of an idea of whether or not we should be worried. Now, Jadon Sancho, in all competitions for Borussia Dortmund, in the time that he was there, in his debut season, 5 goals, 7 assists, Koshti. After that, he had 13 goals and 20 assists, and it's spooky actually because he goes and has 3 consecutive seasons with 20 assists in all competitions. 13 goals, 20 assists in the 18-19 season, 20 goals, 20 assists, absolutely sensational techers from a winger in the 19-20 season. And then last season, the 2021 season, 16 goals, 20 assists. Do you remember at the start of last season, all the pundits who watched the first couple of games were proclaiming him finished? And then he hit a real rich vein of form just before Christmas, which carried on right the way through to the end of the season. But the narrative was, oh, he's not having a good season this year. Well, 16 goals and 20 assists. Give me shit seasons like that from anyone all day of the week. Those numbers aren't obviously flash in the pan. He was literally one of the top creators in Europe for the last 3 years. It's as simple as that. And those numbers don't go away overnight. But he does have to establish a starting position for Manchester United. And there's a number of factors for that. So for starters, I think the team hasn't been performing. And I think that's a massive factor. We saw in the first couple of games for Manchester United, we played against Leeds and we played against Newcastle, a couple of teams that are going to allow you to play football and really start getting a run on. And then we've played the likes of Southampton and Wolves and Villa and Everton and teams that's number one job is to be bleeding awkward and difficult to play against. It was unfortunate United have had a run against all those teams because those are the teams that literally make everyone look bad. And we kind of got them all in a row. It'd have been nice to have a blend of a team that you're going to smack up, Newcastle, Leeds, maybe one of the awkward teams, and maybe a bigger team. Because when you look at the league at the moment, you see like Chelsea, Liverpool, City have all played each other. And they've put in some varied performances, I would say. Chelsea have been pretty good against Liverpool and mediocre against City. You know, City have looked incredible, I would say, against Chelsea and similar against Liverpool. But then they've dropped points to teams that they should be absolutely steamrolling. It's a weird start to the season. Not quite as weird as last season. Last season was wild when you saw Liverpool ship 7 to Villa and United get smacked up 6 by Tottenham. That was very strange. But the team hasn't been performing. We've hit that weird, awkward team performance and we've hit that weird, awkward run. And we've also had some poor performances as a team. I think there's no two ways about saying that. We've not looked great with the arrival of Cristiano Ronaldo, with the arrival of Rafael Varane, and even Sancho's arrival himself as a £75 million signing. The pressure is on for Manchester United like it's never been under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for us. We've always been a team that was in transition, a team that was looking to get back to the top. You sign those players, the expectation, and maybe there's a lot of reason behind that, has to have shifted. Sancho hasn't had the luxury of coming into games like Leeds and Newcastle where there'll be a little bit of freedom, there'll be a little bit of space, and there'll be a little bit of an opportunity for him to go on and do something in those matches. He's looked poor up until, I would say, last week. He came on against Everton. I thought he's shown a couple of bright sparks, and I also thought he looked bright midweek as well. He's only getting 30 minutes on the field, which obviously is difficult to establish any of that sort of match with him. The same goes for Donny van der Beek with the limited time that he's getting. You've got to expect that it takes a little bit more to get your match with him. But for me, Sancho has looked generally, and this is generally positive, he's still on no goals, no assists, which is what he's going to be measured against because he's set a very high bar. But it isn't the first time he's had a slow start. As you can see from the stats, Sancho had an equally difficult start to last season. He registered only 2 assists in his first 7 Bundesliga games, but as you can see, he started a lot of those games as well. He didn't even score a league goal until January, and he still ended up with 16 goals, and 20 assists in all competitions last season, which is elite no matter what level you're playing at. So a slow start doesn't necessarily mean anything. This was a team that he was established in. This is a league that he's established in. This is a league that he's very, very comfortable at playing in. So I don't necessarily think that the slow start is anything to start panicking about just now. He's not going to come alive until the business end of the season. He's not going to come alive until he's given the opportunity to come alive. But I also don't think he's playing in a team at the moment that's set up to play to his strengths. A bit like Marcus Rashford, I expect you'll probably see him given more space, more time, more opportunities when he plays against the likes of Manchester City or Liverpool if he's selected in those games. I can kind of understand the selection sometimes lately from Solskjaer where he's gone with Greenwood and he's gone with Pogba, because I think he's looking at players who can play in between the lines a little bit when he's come up against some of these teams that have sat off and defended and made it awkward for us. But in those bigger games, I really do think you need to stretch the pitch. Jadon Sancho does that fantastically there, and he's set up to be an assist provider and a chance creator. Marcus Rashford does that exceptionally. It'll be very interesting to see if Ollie's got the balls to be able to go and play with a Sancho, Ronaldo and Rashford forward three, because I think the blend of what those three players offer could be scintillating, and I would love to see us try and go toe-to-toe with Liverpool by doing that. And by going toe-to-toe, I don't think we're going to dominate the ball. I think they would. Same with Manchester City. But we could absolutely hurt them on the break with that and really give them something to think about. When you know that Klopp starts picking Milner over Trent Alexander-Arnold, it's because he's scared, and he should be scared. I think a fit Marcus Rashford could be a real big one, but Jadon Sancho's equally as deadly. If you also look at some of the stats that other players have had when they've landed from the Bundesliga, and they've not had quite the impact that they had over in Germany. Kai Havertz last season was called a flop by all sorts. I don't think he quite lived up to the expectation that he arrived with the price of him. Possibly like Sancho this season, but he still registered with 9 goals and 9 assists, and I think you'll take that. And that was after getting 18 goals and 9 assists previously in his last season in the Bundesliga. Mkhitaryan was ridiculous in the Bundesliga, 23 goals, 32 assists, 55 goal contributions, and he only came with 11 goals and 5 assists when he came to the Premier League. Those are two that really struggled, you would say. However, Aubameyang, his last full season in the Bundesliga, he got 40 goals and 5 assists. In his first full season in the Premier League, he got 31 goals and 8 assists. It's not far off, quite comparable actually. And Kevin De Bruyne, I mean, he didn't get anywhere near the assist. A crazy assist season that he got last season in the Bundesliga, 16 goals, 28 assists, but he still managed 15 goals and 13 assists. I think Sancho's probably going to fall somewhere in between these if he's given a comparable run of games. And I think he will be shunted over to the right-hand side once Marcus Rashford is fit, which could happen as early as Leicester, I reckon. You are going to see the best out of Jadon Sancho played on the right-hand side. But don't panic if he's played on the left. Where I saw Jadon Sancho as a 15 or 16-year-old playing for Manchester City was on the left wing, and he cuts inside with some serious lethality. I like what he offers on the right-hand side, though, because he's someone that's going to look to create rather than look to cut in and score. And if you have Marcus looking to cut in and score on his right foot from the left and Jadon's going onto the right, you're stretching the pitch and giving you width. One of the issues that United have had when we've been dealing with teams that have sat back and tried to defend against us is Mason Greenwood isn't running in behind. Mason Greenwood is looking for the ball to feet and he's looking to play along the inside of the front of that defence. He's also looking to come inside and score for himself. That's all he's looking to do. Paul Pogba, when he's been played on the left, is looking to come inside and create. And if you don't have Cavani playing up front and you have Cristiano Ronaldo playing up front, you also have another striker that at times is leading the line, especially as the ball goes into the final third, but he's not leading the line on any sort of counter-attack. He'll often be somewhere around the halfway line. So you're going to need people that can stretch the defence. And that's why I think playing Ronaldo alongside Sancho and Rashford could be a real option for Manchester United, because Rashford's always constantly looking to run in behind. One of the things that you'll notice being at the games over watching on TV, because they focus on the ball or they only focus on a small window of the pitch, is the constant running that Rashford goes through. And one of the things that you know that midfield isn't capable of playing is those balls in early. And that's why I think Paul Pogba could be an asset played a little bit further back, as long as someone's going to be there to do the running for him, because that's really what he lacks. Paul Pogba's ball-playing ability to be able to find Sancho or find Marcus in behind a high line is going to be something that Manchester United really rely on. Yes, it's our number one asset, and for a lot of people that criticise the ability to score counter-attacking goals, you should probably go and watch United in the 90s because we was absolutely black belt at it. That was one of the best things about that Manchester United side. Kanchelskis and Giggs scoring counter-attacking goals. But I think this is a real way for us to start opening up, and it might look like something's changed. The next 6 or so games that we've got Atalanta twice, we've got Leicester, we've got Spurs, we've got City, and we've got Liverpool. Those are 6 teams that are going to look to hold the ball a little bit themselves. I'd be shocked if any of those teams sat back and tried to play United on the counter, which means United are probably going to be a little bit deeper than we were, certainly against Everton. And it means that there's going to be a little bit more space for us to run into. Now is the time to see both Rashford and Jadon Sancho. But I think we need to see Sancho on the right-hand side. Sancho has not started this season well. I'm not calling him a flop. I think that would be absolutely mental to do after the limited minutes that both him and actually Donny van de Beek have had. I don't think you could call Donny van de Beek a flop yet. I think you would just say, I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more out of both of these lads. Can they get a 90 minutes in somewhere where it makes sense for them to play? Playing him down the middle, playing him on the left. He can do those things, but are you getting the best out of him? I don't think so. United need to stretch the pitch, make it wide, look for getting those players in behind, and I think you could see a real difference. The catalyst of Marcus Rashford coming back might end up being called the reason that we've kicked up a gear in form, but I actually think it'll be moving Sancho over to the right-hand side, played in tandem with Marcus Rashford, and whether it's Cavani or whether it's Ronaldo up front, I think you're going to see a hell of a different Manchester United over the next 6 games. I reckon we need to win 4 of them. I think we'll probably lose 1 or 2 of them, but I think we need to win 4 of them, and it's going to be a hell of an October for us, isn't it? Let us know what you think about this in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Laters.